So in the end, all we really want is to be happy. The things that we do, the things that we think, the things that we approach, not only the things, but also the people that we decide to talk to, the people that we decide to hang around with, at the end of the day, is to feel happy. So it's fair to say that happiness is one of those things that has a massive priority in our lives. So it's very important that we actually understand what happiness is and how we can actually attain happiness, because here's the thing. A lot of people love to assume that happiness and excitement are the same thing, which in fact they're not. All right, getting rushes of adrenaline, getting excited, getting pumped, that is not happiness. That is just you getting pumped, getting excited. All right, happiness, on the other hand, happiness is peace. So when you feel happy, you feel at peace, you feel relaxed, you feel comfortable. That's really what happiness is all about. But when you're excited, you're not necessarily happy. You're excited, you're pumped, your heart is racing. As a matter of fact, the emotion, the feeling of feeling excited is actually the same one as when you're fearful, when you feel fear, when you feel scared. It's the same exact emotion, except that your brain is interpreting those emotions differently, depending on the circumstance. So that's excitement. Now, in this book of Genuine Happiness, I actually go over what genuine happiness really is. So not just generic happiness that everybody says. So you'll be happy if you just eat this burger, or you'll be happy if you do this one thing, or you'll be happy if you get this one person in your life, right? And I don't blame you, because that's what society preaches, especially in the marketing and business industry, because people are always trying to draw you into their products and telling you that, hey, after you attain our product, after you buy our product, you're going to feel so happy. Your life is going to change forever, right? And all of this shit. But the reality is that most of that stuff is fake. You don't actually need any of those products or services in order for you to be happy. As a matter of fact, if you were to actually cut those, you would actually experience real, genuine happiness, as opposed to the fake imposter happiness, I like to call it, that comes from those products. It's not exactly happiness, but it's more like excitement. So excitement, happiness. So the reason why I wrote this book is precisely because of that. There's so many people, so many interpretations. People are assuming that this is the same thing as this, when in fact, happiness is happiness. And so in this book, I really go over as to how you can attain real happiness. And it's really based on minimalism and simplicity. So really pursuing the things that actually matter, and actually removing the things that are in the way of you actually attaining happiness. Because here's the thing. A lot of people feel like they have to work to get happiness. They have to work for it. They have to work to feel happy and to feel at peace. But the thing is that happiness and peace are really a state of mind. So you can actually choose to feel happy whenever you choose to. You don't have to rely on the circumstances. However, you have to know how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, then it's pretty much impossible, because you don't have any sort of guidance. You're going to allow the circumstances to dictate your mood all the time. And this book is really to avoid that. It's really to, yes, impulsively, your emotions will draw a certain amount of thoughts into your brain. However, you don't have to respond to them if you do have the knowledge to put yourself in a happy position, consciously. So this book goes over a lot of things, such as, removing judgment. So when you stop judging things, you're already getting one step closer to happiness, because you're no longer having these thoughts of hatred towards other people or things. And so the judgment part is removed. So there is no positive or negative judgments. Every single judgment is just neutral. So I teach you how to understand judgment for what it is. We go into things like values. So you understand how value works in this world, how it's not really realistic to say that this person has more value than this other person, this item has more value than this other item, because at the end of the day, it really depends on the user, what the user is looking for. So value is really just it's very subjective, depending on who is interpreting the value. So I go into like what value is and how to perceive value. I go into things like pleasure and instant gratification. So these things sometimes get confused with happiness when you're feeling pleasure, and so we go into that, and also we go into things like self-confidence and stuff like that. So there's these concepts and many more that I go into in this book. like I've said before, and I've said this many times, this is probably one of my most controversial books yet ever to cover. The reason is because a lot of people have so many skewed ideas about what happiness is. I mean, think about it. Like, there's really people who generally get happy just from, going and playing video games, or they feel happy because they go shopping, or they feel happy for this and this and that, right? And you feel happy due to consumption. And then if you're not doing that specific thing, then your happiness is gone. And sure, if you have access to, let's just say you have access to shopping, or you have access to your video games all the time, then here's the thing. You'll actually never have the opportunity to experience real happiness, because you'll always have that as a cover. That thing that you're doing that you think is giving you happiness is always there. So this book is specifically for those people. So the people who are going to take massive value from this book is really those who have pretty much lost their source of happiness, or the source that they believed to be happiness. Because now you don't have that. So let's just say your source of happiness was coming from, I don't know, maybe you're a guy, you had a girlfriend, she's gone, she was your source of happiness. Now what? Now what do? Now you're in a place where you don't have her. Or it could be vice versa. Maybe you're a girl, you had your boyfriend's gone. Now where do you draw happiness from? If he was your happiness. So you see what I mean? And this can apply for everything. The guy playing video games, all of a sudden, who knows? They cut his power. So now he can't activate the actual devices, or the device just starts to malfunction and he can't play the games anymore. So now what happens? Does that mean that he can't be happy anymore? Or how about the shopping? Maybe you just maybe you had to go and pay off some really large amount of money to somebody else, and now you don't have any money to go shopping. So now, what does that mean? Does that mean that there's no more happiness anymore? Or maybe they close a shop that you usually go and shop. They closed it because, I don't know, they went out of business or something. Does that mean that there is no more opportunity for happiness? Of course there is. However, your mind is telling you that there isn't. And this is why I wrote this book. The reason why I even wrote this book is because I've been through that. I've had many sources of happiness, that I've had many ideas of what I thought were sources of happiness. And guess what? I ended up losing them all. I lost them all. And then I was in this place of like, really? Like, how can somebody be happy forever if they turn their outside circumstances, things, or people into happiness? So you have to remove that. You have to stop interpreting people, circumstances, and things as happiness. And we go over this in the book. We go over perspective, and you understand what perspective is. We go into reality, what exactly is reality, and so many more mind-blowing ideas. So definitely, if you're looking for that way to be happy, especially in these times right now, when so many things were taken away from us, perhaps, at the time of watching this video, we're still in 2020 here. And of course, we were living in the middle of a pandemic here. So keep this in mind. A lot of people have lost a lot. And so it's very important that you're able to detach yourself from the stuff that you had in the past and come back to the present and really experience happiness for what it is. But you have to read this book in order to understand what actual happiness is, because I can't explain it here. If I explain it here on the video, then this video is going to get very long. And this is just me just summarizing what this book is all about. And so, yeah, the rest is up to you. There's going to be a link down below so you guys can download this book completely for free. No charge. Just go ahead and enter your email, and the book will be delivered straight to your email in a matter of seconds, or perhaps a minute or two, and you can go ahead and start reading. Start reading this book. Start reading it now. Because believe me, it'll make a massive change once you actually apply what's in there. Of course, little by little, but definitely you're going to start to see some differences in your life. And that's really what I want for you. So please go ahead and download that book. Like I said, completely for free, nothing to lose. And other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.